Hi, I'm Mike from MotoIQ, and today we're going to talk about how to make your Miata handle. Now, a Miata handles pretty well from the factory, but a lot of them are getting old and they need a refresh, and a lot of them have been monkeyed around with for like years, and they have all sorts of aftermarket parts that may or may not be any good. Now, my daughter races Lucky Dog endurance racing with a team, and she drives a Miata, and she doesn't like it very much. When she first started driving with them, she was worried like going straight to a race without having to practice or test. And I told her, don't worry, Miatas handle awesome, so it'll be easy to drive. And when she went out there, she told me, Dad, this car is undriveable. It handles awful, and I don't even know where to start. So after the first session, we put it up on jack stands, and I was checking it out. And this car was pretty much a wreck underneath. Like, it had started life with a spec Miata, but then it had a hodgepodge of really messed up and mismatched parts. Now, the coilovers were some kind of, I don't know, they look like some eBay brand that I had never heard of. Someone told me that Miata guys like them as a good value kind of shock, but the spring rates were really low. When you bounced on them, they didn't even seem to have any damping. It's like almost like there was no fluid in them, and the adjustment didn't seem to do anything at all. So I think there was some kind of eBay special, but my daughter was saying the car was extremely bumpy in the turns and really unstable. So to fix that, I called up MCS and had them make a set of two-way dampers for us. Now, MCS is a like a value-priced high-end shock. Like, they're definitely high-end shocks, but they're a good value for the price. They're made to order, so they're made to your specifications. Now, they made these to the spring rate I wanted to run, which is 9 kg in the front, 7 in the rear. Now, that's a little softer than like what Super Miatas run. You know, we have to run a spec tire that's not the stickiest, and I didn't want to excessively shock them. And these tires can't generate as much side load, so I think this spring rate is going to actually work well. Now, the MCS, the body is lightweight aluminum. There's a little enlarged portion here for more internal gas volume. The aluminum body itself is hard anodized for corrosion resistance and to help prevent the collars from seizing. They have like a digressive valving. So what that means is you can adjust them so they have a lot of low-speed damping control, which is like in the 0 to maybe 3 inch per second range. Now, this controls dive, squat, and roll, and it's what the driver can feel most, and it is what we call platform control. So the low speed really helps your platform control, and then if you hit a bump, the valves can blow off so you into the high-speed zone, so the damping curve will flatten out. So you could still have good absorption of hits and things like that. The way the valving is set up is when the shock is fully soft, the damping curve is pretty linear and the nose is pointy, so your low speed is down low, so you can get softness and compliance. But if you need more platform control, you could dial it up with the knobs to your heart's content to get as much low speed as you need with the Miata. These shocks are also two-way adjustable. They have independently adjustable compression and rebound, so you can really dial the car in. Now, I've always felt that for racing and even street driving, you want to at least have a two-way adjustable damper. This way you can really adjust the car to the track conditions, driving style, little spring rate changes and things like that, and the type of tire you're running. So the MCS has a lot of flexibility, being two-way adjustable, and it's a pretty decent price. The shocks come with a pillow ball mount, Now this has a spherical bearing in there instead of rubber. So that, and it also has spherical bearings on the bottom. So this means every bit of suspension movement gets translated to the damper. So you have no rubber flex that adds hysteresis into the system where you have undamped wheel motion. So that's really good for high frequency stuff, and it's really good for responsiveness. Now the rear shock, I had this made with a short body because if you have an NA or an NB Miata, they have a problem with not having much rear wheel travel, and I wanted to be able to get the car low and not lose bump travel. So the body is really short. MCS was able to accommodate this, and we're still going to have bump travel and still be able to lower the car a decent amount. Like the front shocks, it's two-way independently adjustable, compression and rebound. It has that digressive valving, spherical bearings on both ends. These are really good shocks for the money. I think if you're going to be racing a Miata and even running one on the street, these are a pretty good setup. I'm really excited to run MCS. I've been running MCS for Formula Drift. We use three-way adjustable ones in there, and I've been really, really impressed with their performance. I've also been working with MCS on Porsche stuff, with Dundon Motorsports, for instance, and I've been really impressed with their frequency response, adjustment range, and the linearity in between adjustment clicks. Seems to be a good MCS thing. So I'm really excited to try these more value-priced two-ways. I'm sure they're going to handle awesome. Now, when I was checking this Miata race car, another reason for the really bizarre handling was it had these really weird no-name sway bars. I couldn't even tell what they were, but it had really odd end lengths, and they're actually at a really steep angle, so they were binding the suspension, preventing it from moving. So this really screwed up handling and bumpy turns, and it wouldn't even hardly let the suspension move. So that was a big problem. So I got these sway bars from Whiteline. So here's your front bar. It's I think about 2 millimeters bigger than the stock, and I didn't exactly do the math, but that usually equates to 50% more stiffness or so than the stock bar. I guess I could do the math, but here it is. So, oh well, that's what I'm going to run. It also comes with urethane bushings. The urethane bushings have this textured interior that holds grease well so they don't squeak. It has these billet collars that prevent the bar from sliding back and forth, so the bar will stay put and everything will stay consistent. And the bar has 2 adjustment points. Now I'm really into adjustable sway bars, especially if you're a grassroots racer. If you want to change the car's balance, typically on a production-based car, your anti-sway bars affect the amount of roll to probably a 2-to-1 ratio over the springs on most cars. And if you want to change your over-understeer balance, changing your bar stiffness by going in different holes makes a bigger difference than changing your springs like a couple kg. Plus, if you're at the track, usually you're your own pit crew. It's really easy to change the bar stiffness, but it's really hard to change springs and everything on your shocks. Now you change springs, you have to realign the car, then you have to readjust the shocks. And if you're a grassroots guy, you'd probably rather be driving than messing around with your car. The end links are really good. They have like ball joints, so they have no loose compliance, but they still have a lot of degrees of freedom. They can swivel around. The bottom part's urethane, so that's a lot harder than your stock rubber. And most importantly, they're adjustable in length. So this helps you get the angularity of the link right as you adjust it through different holes. It also helps you get the bar in the right position if you have a lowered car. And if you're corner weighting the car, you can disconnect the end links, corner weight the car, and then readjust the end links so you don't have sway bar preload caused by the corner balancing. So the rear sway bar is a couple millimeters bigger than stock as well. It being a small bar stock, it's like super small. This equates to like a really big difference in roll stiffness. Like the Whiteline bar is about as much as 140% stiffer than stock in the closest hole. You know, it's three-way adjustable, and like I said about the front bar, I really believe that for a grassroots guy, the having an adjustable bar makes a really big difference. Now, from each skip of the hole, makes like as much difference as a significant change in spring rate, and you can do it in the pits by yourself in a few minutes. Also, the bar has these collars that prevent from sliding back and forth in the bushings. And like the front bar, it has a textured urethane middle bushing for less flex and better translation. Adjustable ball joint end links, so you can get the geometry and the corner weight length right. Pretty cool bar. I think they're one of the best bars for the Miata, and I think that's going to go a long way to fixing our car's handling. Now, as a good starting point, I think the biggest difference in the Miata's handling is a good set of coilovers with sufficient rear wheel travel, good set of sway bars. You're set for most things. Since this is a race car, we're going to do a lot of other stuff though. So let me get this stuff off the table. We'll talk about more goodies. Since our car is old, being the veteran of a lot of races and having a lot of mysterious handling issues, we're going to be replacing all of the hammered rubber bushings with Whiteline polyurethane. Now, I've always liked the Whiteline polyurethane. The urethane material itself is a high resilience kind of urethane, so it doesn't get all wallered out and take compression set like a lot of different urethanes on the market. You know, this makes the Whiteline bushing last a lot longer. A lot of the other bushings on the market, the material takes what us engineers call a compression set. So if it's forced off axis slightly due to the suspension geometry, it'll actually like get stuck, and then it'll waller out the hole and make it bigger, so it'll develop play even though it's urethane and even though this material is much harder than rubber. The other bad thing about urethane is it tends to squeak, and Whiteline has some features to prevent that. One of it is a textured surface inside all of the bushings themselves. This holds grease really well and keeps it lubricated, so you don't have that stiction, slipping, squeaking kind of noise. Also, the flanges have grooves to retain grease. The hardware is all like electroless nickel plated, so they're slippery, and you know, these things together make a bushing that squeaks a lot less. One of the special things about the Whiteline bushings is the front upper control arms. The bushings are eccentric. One of the problems with the Miata is you can't get enough negative camber for a race car with the factory adjustment. And these eccentrics allow us to move the suspension pickup points inboard, so we have more camber adjustment. Then we can get all the negative camber we need. You can also mess around and use these to play with your roll center. Like, let's say you have an adjustable upper arm, so you don't need these to get the camber, but you can raise and lower the roll center depending on where you put the hole. But for our car, we're going to use it to get more negative camber. So these have the textured interior as well. We're also using Whiteline differential bushings. This is going to keep the differential held more firmly and won't let it flop around. You know, this helps prevent wheel hop coming out of turns and stuff like that. And the urethane has some give, so you don't get the driveline shock that you will with solid aluminum bushings, for instance. We got some silicone grease from SuperPro. This grease is like the best stuff for urethane. It's super slippery, super water resistant, and super tenacious. So this grease is something that if you do a lot of installations of urethane bushings, you ought to get. Like a lot of the grease that comes in bushing kits is lithium white grease, and this stuff's way better. So the SuperPro silicone grease. We got some SuperPro steering rack bushings. This replaces the stock rubber ones, so holds the steering rack a lot more firmly without flex, so you have more precise steering. So this kind of covers the worn out bushing problems that our car potentially has. Another problem that Miatas have, especially ones that are lowered, is bump steer. So we're going to address this with a couple different parts. The first part are these steering rack spacers that we got from Goodwin Racing. These raise the rack up, so as the car gets lower, it moves the rack to proportionally keep the tie rods in the right position so you don't gain bump steer. We also have these tie rods from SPL. Now these suckers are really cool. Like not only do you get a new low compliance inner tie rod, you also get these cool outer tie rods. They have these titanium pinch bolts that you can just loosen with an Allen wrench, and that way you can spin around your adjusters really easy. This helps for doing quick toe changes at the track. If you've ever had to like bust the big bolts loose and you're in a hurry, so some is right thread, some's left thread, and you know, it's kind of a bitch to do it quick at the track. But these, you just crack these two Allens and you can spin it, do your adjustment. It has a low compliance rod end bearing. You're not going to get any play. And best of all, it has these ends. The tapered end goes into your knuckle. This end goes into your rod end bearing. And you can use these spacers to move this up and down so you can fine adjust your bump steer. So you get your bump steer gauge or your toe gauge, raise and lower your suspension, and totally adjust your toe curve to match the ride height of your car. So the brakes in our Miata were old and you know, they're okay, but not spectacular. So Fast Brakes helped us out with their big brake kit. The big brake kit uses Willwood calipers. These calipers are hard anodized, so that's the tough corrosion resistant, heat resistant finish, so you're not going to have discoloration or anything. They're 4-piston calipers, and the piston bores are appropriately sized for the stock Mazda master cylinder. They come with billet adapter brackets, so they can go right into the Mazda knuckle. Braided steel brake lines. The stock rubber brake lines expand with pressure, so these don't. So these contribute to a firmer pedal feel. Next, you have these almost 12-inch rotors. They're ventilated. They have an alloy hat, so you save a couple pounds per side of unsprung weight. We got the rotors cryogenically treated at CTP Cryogenics. You know, like as far as the metallurgy goes, brakes get so hot that they get into the heat treating zone. So I wasn't sure how cryogenic treating was going to work with the extreme temperatures, but CTP assured me that we're going to see greatly improved rotor life. Now, I haven't been advocating for cryo rotors because I don't have any direct experience, but since this is an endurance racing car, we're going to really learn how much cryogenically treated rotors help the life, and I'll be reporting back on that at a future time. For brake fluid, we're using Halo P1. Now, I don't have any experience with this, but I've been told that this is one of the best brake fluids with a really high boiling point, and it's really non-compressible. I've been using Endless brake fluid with really good results, but supposedly this is another great product that's right up there with Endless. So we'll be talking about how that works. Now, brakes always need good pads. So we're using CSG pads. Now, CSG is kind of a new brand. I know the guys behind CSG, and they're guys that came from Brembo, and they have a lot of experience with friction materials and braking systems in general. And they've been working with me on a number of other projects like our Time Attack and our Pikes Peak stuff. And let me tell you, these CSG pads work really well. Now, this is CSG's endurance racing compound, so it's designed for endurance racing with tires that maybe aren't so sticky, so the mu is flat and maybe not as high as some of their race compounds for slicks and stuff, but it's designed for consistent mu, consistent performance through a wide temperature range, and long life, and to be easy on the rotors and stuff. So I'm really excited to give these a try. I haven't tried their endurance racing pads yet, but everything CSG has been awesome so far, and I really trust them with friction material. So finally, we're going to improve the stiffness of our chassis. Now, Miatas, being convertibles, need all the stiffness they can get. They're pretty noodly from the factory. Ours has a full cage, so we're not going to use all the mid-body braces and the back braces that are available. But if you have a street Miata, it can really benefit from all those braces. The first thing we have is a Whiteline strut tower brace. It's pretty self-explanatory. It goes between your strut towers. It's made out of an aluminum extrusion. It's adjustable for length, and you can pre-tension it a little bit to help it out. Nice piece, nice black anodized finish. I think this is a really good piece. They also have some triangulated ones, but we're running other braces, so I thought this Whiteline one would be nice, and we'd have more quick access around the engine compartment for working on it during pit stops if we needed to. Our next brace is the V8 Miata under fender brace. Now, this connects from your door hinges over to your near the shock towers, and it reinforces that area. It ties the shock towers into your ring module part of your chassis, which is real stiff. Now, these guys make a huge difference in the stiffness of the front of the car, and I think any Miata can benefit from it greatly. On other cars, we found that these under fender braces are probably the ones that help the most. So being a convertible and being pretty weak in the front, we think these V8 Miata parts are really going to help. They're square section tubing. They're actually pretty light. They're gusseted for rigidity, and they're MIG welded, really strong, fairly inexpensive. We got them at Goodwin Racing. We also got these parts from Goodwin Racing. This part here is a knuckle brace. It goes on your front knuckle, and it prevents it from flexing and causing brake knockback. Now, brake knockback is when your knuckle and bearing system flex, and it causes the rotor to wobble around. It knocks the brake pads back into the calipers, and you can have good brakes, go through some S-turns or something, and the next time you hit your brakes, the pedal goes to the floor. It'll pump right back up hard again, but that's not a thing that gives you confidence. This cuts out a lot of the flexing in the knuckle. Really recommended, especially if you have big brakes and fixed calipers, which are even more sensitive to knockback. So we got these from Goodwin Racing. We also got these reinforcement pieces from Goodwin Racing. This reinforces the front anti-swaybar mount. The stock Miata ones are really flimsy, and about half of the action of the sway bar gets translated into flexing the mounts. So it makes the sway bar a lot less effective. These cure it. sway bar mounts can also tear out of the chassis. Those fix it too. So Goodwin Racing has a lot of other braces for the Miata, and you know, if you have a street Miata without a cage, you can benefit from just about all of them. So I'd really like to thank Goodwin Racing. They're a one-stop Miata racing and performance shop. Any little thing you can dream about for your Miata, get it handling or power or whatever, they got it. Now they have a lot of experience racing Miatas, from spec Miata, super Miata, and crazy time attack Miatas. So they kind of know the path. So I relied on their expertise to figure out things like the sway bar sizes and the spring rates. You know, that saved me from having to figure it out myself. And with their experience in actual competition, their advice is really sound. So if you're going to be shopping for Miata stuff, check out Goodwin, and I feel like you're in good hands over there. So we're going to put all this stuff in our Miata. We're going to come out with a part 2 of this video. It's going to be the installation, setup, and then maybe some of the testing we do to dial in everything. So I hope you found this interesting. I know there's a lot of you Miata people out there, and I really think we got all the stuff to make this thing a really, really good handling and good braking race car. So if you like this content, be sure to become one of our members. If you look down at the bottom, you can click on that and join. It's pretty cheap. We appreciate that. We don't take any advertising money, so it's not that we don't take it, but we don't have any advertising money, and production kind of costs a lot. This is kind of a passion project, and that helps us fund things. So become a MotoIQ member, hit subscribe, hit those likes, go to MotoIQ.com, check out our website. If you like our video tech, there's tons of written tech there. If you want us to mod your car, go to the garage service thing, fill out that form, send it in, and we can give you a quote or give you some advice and direction to go on your project. So until next time, I guess I'll be talking to you later.